We're talking about roughly 40,000 homeless veterans every night on our streets, right?
Have the one thing we're always looking for, which is hope. And that's a huge deal for these guys, because hope, once that goes away, they add to that 22 number, right, that we just discussed.
Welcome, 239 Uncensored, everything Southwest Florida and beyond. And we got a great podcast today. It's going to be a really good one, very interesting, very informative. We've got the folks, Diego Gill and Sid Fernandez from Wounded Warriors of Collier County with us. Hey, welcome, guys. What do you think about the studio? You guys having fun with this? It's kind of cool.
I've had better.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm into red.
Yeah,
I definitely like red.
Where have you had better, Sid? I just want to know.
Neither here or there. Not we're going to get into that. No, but for those that are listening in, no, this place is...
We won't ask.
This is probably the third time I've been in here, and I want to come in more often. I come in here at night. Sometimes they don't know about that, but it's absolutely stunning in here. What you guys have done in here is fantastic.
No, thanks. We're having fun. So, yeah, so in the podcast today, we're going to go over a little bit about, the program, what you guys do for the community. I know personally, being a veteran myself, it's definitely a much needed thing in Collier County, much needed thing we have, and just kind of give us a little bit of a rundown of what the program's about. How did you get started? How'd you go? I know you can't do it in 30 minutes, but how'd you go from where you were to where you are now in just kind of a nutshell? We'll talk about it a little bit as we go.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll give you the best abridged version that I can of the Titanic sequel, in a sense. So we started in 2010, right? We started off as Wounded Warriors of Collier County. We were more like a pass-through organization. A lot of the fundraising we did, golf events, all that money went up to Wounded Warriors corporate. And then our veterans and also our donors here in Collier County were asking more where that money was going. They wanted it to be more in their backyard, affect the community as a whole, and putting all the pieces of the puzzle, the need that we had. So we stopped going there. We're a fully licensed 501c3. We saw a need in the county. We saw a need within the community for our veterans. And what we ended up doing was just revamping who we are as Wounded Warriors of Collier County. And that's kind of where we're at today right now. Our goal, our mission at the end of the day is to assist all veterans in Collier County with mental health, housing, and education. That's our mission at the end of the day, and to ensure that we see no veteran left behind. And we're making strides, man. These last 3-4 years have been phenomenal as a nonprofit organization, and I'm proud to be part of this grassroots movement.
Yeah, and that's good. Now, you guys said you pulled away, you separated from the original Wounded Warriors corporate. Is that just because you had a little push locally to do that, or is it just something you guys decided to do?
So that's something that, of course, pushed through donors. And in essence, we were never affiliated with Wounded Warriors, the national organization. We are our own 501c3 licensed here throughout the county. Take care of our home, take care of our backyard. The thing is, when you do a lot of these national organizations, it's hard to really control how the funds are spent, how the money is monetized or directed. And having a great donor base that is Collier County, we saw a need. And we had to fulfill that need. And that need is right here in our backyard.
Yeah. And I don't know if you'd like to add anything on that, Sid. I'm sure you would.
Listen, the inefficiencies at big organizations, I'm not sitting here to say to bash anybody. I think for most of those big organizations, I think their heart's in the right place. But once you get so big, admin fees and costs becomes very, very high. I mean, we looked at the numbers with Wounded Warriors, the corporate one, when that big stuff happened, that big news happened about over a decade ago. You're looking at figures between 20 and 30% of the money that's being generated is actually going to where they're saying it is. Here, for an organization like Wounded Warriors of Collier County, we're looking above 95%.
Right.
It should light a light bulb in all of our minds to say, hey, if we can keep things local, if we can find a leadership base that sticks to what they're saying, sticks to their mission, we can keep the money right here in house, and we can emulate this in other areas to help people, so that the money is efficiently dispersed to where it's supposed to, instead of your admin costs, your marketing, all that good stuff. Right. So it's huge. I think it's a big thing to keep money right back at home.
Yeah, when you have brick and mortar and you have a bunch of staff and admin, there's going to be some of those fees. And then when they get up at a corporate level, sometimes you don't know exactly how they're dispersed or dispensed at a lower level. Yeah.
Exactly. And just to kind of echo what Sid said in a sense, and that's really where we kind of tout ourselves as a nonprofit grassroots organization is, look, 95%, we're keeping all that money right here in our backyard. We're doing everything possible, keeping our whole board, everybody that volunteers, it's 100% volunteer basis. Those that we do have to give, in a sense, is you could kind of say it's a needed requirement, those that we have to pay or that small.
Sure,
but even
yeah,
at 6%, it's not bad.
Yeah, there's fees we know to operate. So let me ask you guys a little bit about national level, local level. What are some of the stats with veterans? I mean, because people have a tendency to think Collier County, everything's beautiful. There's not a lot of those issues around here. But give us some of those numbers.
Yeah. So the numbers, as a veteran, as myself and us three talking here, right? We're talking about roughly 40,000 homeless veterans every night on our streets, right? Out of those 40,000, nine out of 10 of them are males. If we look at other statistics, right? Roughly in Florida, we have total vets 1.5 million. Out of the 1.5, 1.1 of those were actually actual theater, have seen some type of combat. If we're looking at PTSD, 2 out of 10, that those that have PTSD also have some type of substance abuse or alcohol abuse problems. We're 4 times more likely to abuse prescriptions. We're 1.5 higher on the suicide rate. Follow Mission 22. 22 veterans a day die because they commit suicide. So the alarming rates are there. The statistics are there. VA is a little bit harder as far as they're a little behind on the numbers we're looking for. They're a couple years behind, but you have independent groups. You have your hunger and homeless coalitions that do their annual point in time counts that kind of give us a little bit more of realistic and concrete numbers. But it's sad to say that there's numbers against us as veterans, right? Just those that suffer from PTSD. I say it all the time. Look, I'm the biggest advocate. I'm also the biggest supporter. I am myself suffering from PTSD. And it just happens. We deal with it different ways, and we have to figure a way, how do we help our veterans that ultimately gave the biggest price, right? They signed the blank check.
Yeah, they offered it up. And I like how you mentioned it, because you are a vet. I know Sid's a vet.
Yeah.
I'm a vet.
Yeah.
I was fortunate, to make it through pretty healthy at the end, but that's a good point, Sid.
It is. It's a huge thing. When you listen to those statistics, you hear the numbers, it should create an eye-opening experience. Now we see them nationally, and this gentleman right here is going to get into the local numbers, because I think that we do live in a bubble. As beautiful as Naples is, it's a treasure coast for us. It's a treasure coast for many people across the country, but there are things in our own backyard that we have to tend to, and it takes a group that has the vision, that has the backing, that has the sustainability to continue to fight for it, but it also is the knowledge to get it out there. Places like this, like 239 Uncensored, to really get the information out to the people that are listening, because without that education, it's not going to move anybody to do anything. There's things going on nationally, but right here in our own backyard, there are things that we don't even realize are important that we need to tend to. And it really just takes a little bit of attention and a community effort to get to it. So if you want, you should give those the statistics for Collier County.
So let's start with that. So probably 2 years ago, we did our first point in time count prior to the actual official point in time count. At that moment, we counted roughly 50 homeless veterans right here in our backyard. And that's just 2 days of county. That's counting all of Collier County, even going out to Immokalee. When we did the official point in time count for 2020, we ended up with the same numbers. What the VA says and what other official organizations say, that's only a third of what we're actually counting if we were able to count all the homeless veterans in Collier County. The surprising number is that last year we did the point in time count again, and now our number is 75. So we're saying
Collier County.
Collier County.
Yeah. Crazy.
So from 45 to 75 within a year, we're saying 75 is only 1/3. So roughly anywhere between 150 and 200 homeless veterans in our backyard. We can't count them all, but I mean, the numbers are there. And what we're trying to do as an organization here in Collier County is to assist that need that's needed right now.
One at a time, if it need be. It's just you got to take a stab at it and keep working. Ultimate goal is to get everybody in a good place, off the streets and safe.
Yeah.
And just for those that are listening in, what he's mentioning, that event that went on, it was basically a group of sheriffs, a group of veterans, a group of people who actually cared about the veterans here locally, to go out there at 4:00 in the morning and to go walk sections of Collier County in talking about rural areas, in areas where they're heavily wooded. And we found and made contact with veterans. I mean, people that legit have what we would consider a home. I'm talking about tents, barbecues. These people are living like if you were living in your own home right here, and you would never notice it. Why? Because we're listening to our music, we're jamming in our cars on the way home. And it's something that's just under in front of your eyes. The purpose of this and what we're doing here is just to bring it to light. And again, without you guys knowing what's there, you guys can't put your hand in the cookie jar to help. Hopefully at the end we'll talk about volunteer opportunities, but that's a really big deal for us. We want people to be involved it's a humbling factor for us, and we're proud of the people that fought for our country. We need to do a little bit more to make sure that homecoming is a lot more comfortable than what they're dealing with right now.
So ultimately, there's a lot of those stats. What is the initiative? What are you trying to accomplish? I know you have a home housing program.
Mm-hmm.
What is that pushing towards?
So excuse me. Right now, we're doing, we have what's called our Warrior Homes Initiative, right? It's a 3-year initiative. We're trying to get 3 houses built within our county. Right now, we have our Alpha House, which is our transitional housing, our Bravo House, which is long-term supportive housing, and we're right now working in the midst of what is Charlie House, which is still kind of get defined. Alpha House holds right now 7 veterans that are either come through St. Matthew's House, David Lawrence, Veterans Treatment Court. They have, in one shape or another, a substance abuse and alcohol problem. The program really helps them and assists them in getting back to being just a civilian again, right? What happens is the military never taught us how to be civilians. They taught us how to be soldiers, airmen, Marines, Coast Guards. They taught us everything. What they never taught us was, when we got out, is how to be a civilian again. So a lot of times we're taking on these hidden wounds of war, and we take them with us. So the gentlemen in our Alpha House are amazing. It is a sober house. It is a completely, they have to oblige by our rules. They have meetings twice a week. Everything that they do, we make sure we take care of them. It's not indefinite, right? It's technically supposed to be transitional housing for up to up to 12 months. Bravo's our newest addition. We love it. We have 3 veterans in there. That's our long-term supportive housing. So a lot of these veterans have already either Social Security, maybe limited Social Security, are receiving veteran benefits. So they have a modified rent system. We help out with everything else. All the furnishing was done by many supporters, charity supporters within the community supporters that just helped us out to make that happen. And Charlie House, it's still underway. We should get something wrapped up before the end of the year.
Now, what's the Charlie House one more time? Just is that still long term, or
Charlie House is going to be multifunctional? Okay, I think at the end of the day, but it's still on the chalkboards.
Okay, outstanding. And those are obviously throughout Collier County. One other thing on that is, obviously required to be a vet. What are some other requirements if somebody would be interested? Do they get is there a process of getting picked or selected to go in there, or is it people you've identified? Or
most of it is people we have identified through our community partners. So perhaps someone in St. Matthew's House, someone in Collier County Sheriff's Office, or David Lawrence have identified a veteran that says, hey, we can use you. We can definitely use your services as an organization. And many times it's just veterans that have searched us, looked on our website, and said, how do you help my brother? How do you help my sister? How do you help my friend? And it's qualifying them at that point.
Yeah. So any echoing on that one? I mean, you're in the midst of it.
What he said was actually pretty spot on how people find and stumble across it. When I first got here in 2018, one of the biggest questions that I had gotten when I had latched on to another organization, who I'm currently not affiliated with, was, how do I find info? And that seems to be a general theme with people, is that they don't really know where to go. You have, I believe it's 211 for veterans as well, 211 for those who need help. They're a resource. But here locally in Collier, though we've seen a lot of flags and we've seen patriotism in a certain way, what we don't have is answers as to where do I go. You've got small little units like the Vet Center, which is right there, I think it's Tradeway, if I'm not mistaken, or the Horseshoe Drive.
Yep.
Which has been a great resource, but they're overloaded as well, and they're very limited as to what they can do. I mean, the only other thing I can add to it is, guys, the VA, there's a lot of complaints about the VA, and you know what? In certain cases, they probably should have complaints, but the VA is a federal thing, right? They are not located here. The VA should not be the only ones fighting for what's going on with our veterans. It has to be to us, the people who have the freedoms that are provided, right? So getting involved, understanding what those organizations look like, who or what their contact information is, it's huge. So again, guys, what they're doing with these houses is just unbelievable. These guys have finally, for the first time in their lives since leaving the service, have the one thing we're always looking for, which is hope. And that's a huge deal for these guys, because hope, once that goes away, they add to that 22 number, right, that we just discussed. So again, backing someone like Wounded Warriors of Collier County has just been absolutely huge for me, because obviously the fight never really stops for us, and we have to continue fighting for each other. So that's pretty much it.
It's spot on.
And to go off to another little section on that, because kind of covered that, but I know currently I believe you just had a ruling, but I think you had litigation with the city of Naples.
Yep.
Reference, I believe it was housing issue.
Correct.
Could you kind of give us a little rundown of how that started, what happened, and where we at now with that rate or your organization?
So very quickly on that, that's with Alpha House. Originally, Alpha House started off with 4 veterans. We had asked the city of Naples for a variance and also a reasonable accommodation due to substance abuse being considered falling under Fair Housing Act, and then falling under a reasonable accommodation due to a disability. We had passed the planning board. Planning board gave it all thumbs up. Coding gave it thumbs up. The moment we got the city council gave us a 7-0 vote, vetoing it
against it.
It was
what was it? Was it like not my backyard type of thing, or maybe a little bit more than that? I mean, I don't know if you can get into it totally.
I could get into it. I'd rather not. I'd rather say that as an organization, we knew what was right for our veterans, and we knew that we were being discriminated against as a veteran class. So we did what we thought was best. We talked to other attorneys. We looked at our in-house counsel, and speaking with other attorneys, out-house counseled. We filed a federal suit, went in front of a federal judge, and then talking with opposing counsel, realized that yes, it was a violation of Fair Housing Act and reasonable accommodation. We were now granted our 7 veterans, and that's basically where we're at. It's a win, not just for us, it's a win for the community, and it's a win for our veterans because we can house more veterans and help them.
Yeah. And the ultimate goal, right?
Yeah.
Is to try to help them out. I mean,
exactly.
We understand there's roadblocks and there's things that sometimes we have to jump around, but I think we have to look at the end game and the picture and really see what we're doing. I don't know a lot about it, but just not to be in supportive of that or in a supportive position on that's got to be, I don't understand it, but again, there's probably a little bit more to it. Us being vets.
I mean, a lot of it really. Let's be. I guess we could be not so much apolitical in a sense, but a lot of people don't understand laws, right? So we're putting people in politics or in a political position and don't really understand on how laws are drafted or what's the purpose behind them in a sense.
Right. Yeah, being in real estate myself and Sid's in the mortgage industry and you being an attorney, yeah, there's some things there's some things in there that it kind of just like throw you for a loop every now and then. You got to make sure you're doing the right thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah.
Sound like the start to a joke.
A
lawyer and a mortgage guy walk into
a bar.
Yeah.
What happens?
We're pretty much screwed. Basically.
They close it up.
Yeah, they close it up at the end of the night. That's good. So I know we we're in Collier County. We have a lot of events. We have people that are raising money at all times. I know you've got some big ones that are coming up. Can you guys kind of give us a little rundown of what we have?
I like to call this is our season. This is where my brown hair turns more white. I'll probably have white hair by the end of the event.
Yeah.
So this is season for us. We're rallying it up. We're getting ready. We have so DeVoe's always been a big supporter of us.
Yeah.
They are raffling amazing. I have a Cadillac myself. Saying. They are raffling off a 67. It's like a sky blue, mint blue DeVille. Thing is beautiful, right? Roughly goes for about $40,000. They're raffling it off, giving all that money back to Wounded Warriors of Collier County. So that's our big push.
Yeah.
After that, we have our golf outing that happens in October, right at the end, right prior to going around the holiday weekend. And then we also have what we call our annual Veterans Gala. That's happens Veterans Day weekend. It's on a Saturday. It's a great event. I mean, we packed the house. In 2019 was stellar. That place was filled. Everyone was in there like sardines.
Where was it last on 19? Where was it?
It was the Naples Sailing and Yacht Club. And we're doing it back there. Yeah, we're going back.
Like super host, right?
You
Why
can't
change it when it was going?
I heard the MC was phenomenal. I heard they made amazing donations.
It was you. I'm looking over here at Kimmy over here. She's like, it was him. Yeah.
No.
He had pigment challenges.
I should have wore boots.
So they felt bad.
Yeah, I should have wore boots. There's a lot of stuff getting slung around. And for what you guys can see on the video and on the cameras and the audio, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes here too. I'm getting kicked by Sid and a couple other things. We're having fun.
I was playing footsie.
Yeah, right.
Whatever,
footsie,
I guess.
Yeah.
Like, that's right. He's Air Force, so he gets a little bit more like.
Hey, Air Force. We got.
I know. I knew the
lifestyle.
second I sat down, I knew it was the Air Force.
Cush seats are here.
Last thing they build is the runway.
Truth. Yeah. You guys take care of us. That's good. I'm glad we get these guys that want to go out.
I love your guys' galley. I can always eat there.
Yeah. Oh, I know. when I was in the military, I thought that like everybody ate like we did in the Air Force. I mean, it's like going in, people take our trays. I mean, Marines would come in and they go, "We got a choice of eggs. What's up with that?" I'm like, absolutely.
I was Marines, and then I went Air Force 2.5 years later. As a Marine, when I first walked into a dining facility, not a chow hall, it was a dining facility. Excuse me, we're classy, Tim.
Yes, sir.
In Nellis Air Force Base in Las Vegas, they asked me, "How would you like your steak done?" And I looked at them, I was like, "Cooked with crayons?" I know Marines enjoy crayons, but no, I was so blown away by that.
Yeah.
And then obviously going to the Air Force, like, wow, this is not a cot. This is a 5-star hotel. This is great. They didn't tell me this in the recruiting office.
From MREs to San Antonio to Lackland Air Force Base, to me was wow.
I didn't even realize it was different than another. When I was
you guys don't even run when it's Black Flag. What
yeah,
atrocity
is
that?
It's a little bit warm out. We got to sit in the dorm. It's no big
you can
deal.
take PT. You can take the PT test without doing a single thing. You just need to get taped. I'm not even kidding you. I've never seen them in my life. Go Air Force. Hey, listen.
Yay.
They were great to us. So
no,
either way,
good. Yeah, we dropped the bombs when you call, so we're pretty good about that. It's all good. So listen, we all want to know how we can get involved, right? So how does the community get involved in your program, and what opportunities are there out there to do that?
So I would like to say great things are on the horizon when it comes to as far as getting community involvement. Our number one thing is go to our website, fill out the information, submit it, get on our roster. It's www.collier.org. That's where our website's at. Okay. Follow us on Instagram. That's Wounded Warriors _Collier County. Kimmy was helping me out with that.
She had a card up, by the way.
Yeah, no. It used to be Vets Count. She changed everything. Kimmy's my marketing genius behind all of this. Follow us on Facebook. At the end of the day, get involved. Find out what we're doing. We're bringing on board a whole volunteer coordinator chair, and that's going to be her job, getting us out there, doing events, getting the community involved, finding other volunteer events, whether it's schools, programs, clubs, to get involved with what we do to find ways to donate, and then donations at the end of the day. Doesn't matter if it's $1, 50 cents, or if it's 10, 20. We appreciate it all. It's all going back to a good cause at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's big. And you mentioned it, Sid, a little bit too. Involvement, important.
It's education, man. I mean, I think most of us in here have taken time out, not just for veterans, but giving back to the community in other ways, right? There's one great way of giving something to your kids or even to yourself and humbling yourself and grounding you is by giving back. It's, we're especially in the real estate business, we're kind of in this high right now. And sometimes we gravitate. We've got to ground ourselves. And the best way to do that is to give back to the people that should mean the most to us right now, which are those guys and gals that have done what we are not willing to do the things that we want to do. And what greater way than spending maybe one day during the next Vets Count is to join with maybe a teenager and yourself and going out there and seeing it for real. Because then you'll say to yourself, maybe my life isn't that bad. And there's something that we can do. It gives you value. And again, it gives people hope. That's a huge thing, guys. It's a huge thing, man. You can literally save someone's life. When we did that count in 2019, we had bumped into someone. I'm trying to remember where
the one
exactly.
In the summer, the one that we did in July.
Correct.
Yeah, I was studying for the bar. I couldn't go that one.
Hot, dude. And then we met with this gentleman, and he looked at us. He goes, "You're the first people to come out here," and just say thank you, because even though I've gotten used to living out here, it brought some semblance of hope that there may be something better for me, rather than being in these woods with a tent, with a tarp, and trying to figure out how I'm going to eat tomorrow. That's huge. And no person that's ever fought a war should ever be like that. Listen, no person should be like that. But more so, people who provide the freedom, they shouldn't be living that way. So volunteer, guys, whether it's with this organization or another, just volunteer. Give your time back. Give your time back.
No, it's important. Thanks for throwing that at us. But, it's a big thing. What does Wounded Warriors of Collier County look like in the future? What do you envision it?
Oh,
Goals.
My envision. My board might be a little upset with me with what my vision is. I would like to say I'm on the board. I'm on the train with Sid, and we're trying to run this thing through all of Florida. The next 5 years, it's a developmental phase, right? Because this organization, what it did in the last 10 years to what it's done in the last 3 years is phenomenal. What we thought was going to be 2 down years because of COVID have actually been progressive years that have put us if not on schedule, ahead of schedule with what we're trying to do. So next 5 years as a grassroots look, hopefully we're in Charlie, we're in our Delta house, maybe we're collaborating with other community partners. Right now we're also growing our scholarship program. We're working with community partners to get a whole scholarship program going for veterans, for family members of veterans, for those probably looking forward to going to JROTC or seeking a path in the military. So there's so much that we're doing, not just housing wise, also with mental health. We partnered with David Lawrence. We have a case manager over there right now. She roughly has 18 veterans that she's dealing with. What we're doing on the housing, on education, we're hitting our buckets, but it's just not hitting right now. It's knowing that there's a need in this community. There's a need in the county, and just making sure at the end of the day that we're addressing those needs.
Amen to that.
That's good. We have any push with our co folks up in Lee County? I mean, you getting anything with them, or are you trying to get them going? Or are you just trying to take care of yourself?
No.
You know, I know how it is. You know?
No. We have phone calls with them. I mean, we got home base up in Lee County. 211 is based out of Lee County, right? Which is Mission United or United Way. They're up there as well. So we're definitely getting calls because what we're doing is groundbreaking for Collier County. The thing right now that I think we have to look at is we're figuring out this wheel in our backyard. And by figuring out this wheel in our backyard will better prepare us in the event that we decide, you know, instead of maybe Collier County, Wounded Warriors of Collier County becomes Wounded Warriors of Southwest Florida or becomes something bigger. But I think you have to figure out your backyard first.
Yeah, get that infrastructure down, learn how to do it, and then you can, you know, use your footprint for the next level.
Exactly.
Yeah. You hate to use the term franchise, but really that's what you need to do, right? You need to have a concept that works, and it works really well, right? And the wonderful thing is the blueprint's there. It is a 501c3. This isn't something that we're trying to keep to ourselves. This is something that if this really continues to build the way it is, let's share with others, because again, it's up to the communities to take care of our own, man. Stop looking at the federal government, guys. Your community has plenty. There's plenty of people who are leaders. There are plenty of people who make money. We just need the plans in place. And I think Wounded Warriors of Collier County, we've been blessed that these guys have been at it for as long as they have, and they've bumped their head against walls. They've bumped their head against people in obviously the government, but luckily enough, cooling heads prevail, and we are where we are. So we're going to continue striving to perfect this model so that we can share it with others so that they can do it in their own backyard.
Hey guys, I really want to thank you guys for coming in, doing what you're doing in the community. I mean, like you said, when you make that contact with that guy that's living out in the woods, and gal, whoever it might be living out in the woods, going, hey, you're the first ones who've ever come to me. You know, that's a situation that's priceless. I mean, or the feeling that you get for that person is you can't, you know, redo that. That's just something that's, you know, it'll last forever. But I think if we plug away at it one person at a time and doing the things you guys are doing, it's unbelievable. Thanks.
And I think we're all touching, right? At the end of the day, it's not just homelessness, right? Let's look at that mental health portion, right?
No, you're right.
What if it's that one veteran that just didn't take his life that day? You know, like so there's many aspects and many facets.
That's a whole other aspect. Good point. Yeah, very good point.
It's absolutely huge. It's just nuts again, and it really just stemmed from that. And one of the biggest things, I don't know if you ever alluded to it earlier, was this really came from a place where there are guys that are stuck in the judicial system. They're in and out of prison, in and out of jail, and they're just like, we're just gonna keep throwing them in jail because there's substance abuse issues. But is there a much bigger cause? And I think root causes is something that all of us as human beings have an issue with. We don't know why subconsciously I keep doing this, but there is deep stuff going on that's driving you to an area that you don't want to go to.
Sure.
And I think that's one of the greatest things that Wounded Warrior Collier County had done. They've gotten the statistics from the people here as they realize, wait, these guys in this vicious circle isn't because they want to be doing drugs. It's because the crap that they've been going through or they went through kind of is pushing them to that. I mean, guys, most of us go in at 18, 19 years old, and some of these dudes are seeing death before they're 20. And
before they even turn 19.
Before they even turn 19. And that is a massive scar, guys. And imagine going and every day, everything being fed to you, meaning you have a target, you've got a target, you got a target. All of a sudden that stops one day. How do you prep to, like, where the hell do I go? How do I put my pants on? Wow. And it's as simple as that. I mean, PTSD is always looked at as something like these guys were in a firefight, these guys got bombed tonight. It's so much bigger than that. Yeah. And these are the types of organizations that are opening up those statistics. They're opening up the science for us to better understand why guys are going into these vicious circles. You know, it's not just about getting the touches. It's about understanding, rehabbing them the way that they should be, not just let free with taps and hopefully they make it.
Yeah.
And if they die, they got life insurance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, getting that root cause, getting to the problem, deep rooted problem is what's going to do it. Well, guys, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. You guys have been outstanding. I wish you guys come back when we have these events. Just let me know. We'll do our best to get to them, or at least put it out there that the event's there, and we'll be very supportive for you guys. Anything you need, just let us know at the studio.
You're the man.
Thank you so much.
All right, but Studio 239 and 239 Uncensored, we are out.
Boom.